Hello everyone, welcome to Studitable. My name is Swati and in this video we'll be talking about Jira. What Jira is, why is it used, how does it help in the Agile project methodology. So Jira is a popular tool that is developed by Atlassian around 2002 and it helps in the Agile project methodology. Along with that, it helps us to track issues, it helps us to manage teams and other things. So if you are new to Agile or if you have limited knowledge on Agile, then there is a video on Agile methodology by Studitable. Link is there in the description. Go check that video out. It will give you a clear understanding of what Agile is. Okay. So now let's come back to Jira. Then Jira is a popular software tool that is used by various sectors to manage their work, and it particularly used in the software field, but not only in the software field. It is being preferred in other industries as well, such as HR, in marketing, in finance, etc. And Jira helps them to manage their workflows, to help them to manage teams, to track issues, to report bugs, etc. So we'll look into this video as to what Jira is, why is it used, the advantages, and then we'll dive into the practicals of how you can create a project in Jira, how you can create different kinds of issues such as epics, user stories, tasks, etc. We'll look all of this in the video ahead. So without wasting much time, let's start the video now. So now let's see what is Jira. So Jira is a tool designed by Atlassian to help teams plan, track, and manage their works. So what does it do? It provides us a centralized platform where all project related tasks, which we also call them issues here, they can be created, they can be tracked and managed. So Jira is more popularly used in the software development world, where a lot of software teams use them in their projects. But Jira can also be used and is actually being used in marketing, HR, operations, and other departments as well. Okay, so Jira is a software product which is developed by Atlassian that helps us to track bugs, track issues, and also help in the agile project management. So how does that actually help? Since Jira is packed with features that can cater to a different types of teams and workflows, so the major features of Jira include issue tracking. Issue tracking means tracking tasks, bugs, features, and other work items. So these issues can be anything. So these issues can be like that require attention, more like a bug, a user story where the user will specify what he or she needs, like as a user I want to do a particular thing, and we will implement the user story in the project as we go along, or a project task that needs to be done, any kind of pending work. If you have to create something, then you will assign that as a project task. So issues can be customized with a variety of fields, such as using priority, where we can prioritize if it needs to be done first or the other things are to be taken care of first. Then we can assign them to a team, or we can assign them to a particular person or a member of the team, anyone. Status of it, that how is the progress going on, what's the status, due date, that is what at what time, and what is the amount of time it will take to be done. Okay, then bug tracking is also same, that bugs and issues, but if we are creating a project in Jira, then bug comes under issue. So it's more like if you are having a bug, then you can also work on that, like issues, that is customizing them accordingly, and then including the priority, the member or the team to be assigned, the status, etc. And for agile project management, so Jira helps particularly with agile project management such as Scrum and Kanban. So it excels in environments that adopt agile methodologies. So if we talk about Scrum, and we have already covered a video about Scrum and Kanban. So if you have not yet seen the video, the link is there in the description. Please check that video out to understand more about Scrum and Kanban. Okay, so Scrum, how does Scrum work? Scrum team work in sprints, as we know that they work in cycles, that is in 2 to 4 week cycle where a bigger project is broken down into smaller parts, and the set of work is then broken down into various tasks. So how does Jira help there? Jira allows teams to create backlogs, that is what needs to be done, then plan sprints accordingly, and then use the Scrum boards to track the progress. That is how the work is going on. Is it moving from to do to done, or there are some issues that needs to be fixed, right? So each sprint is essentially a container of tasks, and teams can move tasks from to do to in progress and finally done based on the status and based on the progress. And the Scrum Master checks the progress in time to time, right? Then if we talk about Kanban, then Jira also helps with Kanban, that is with teams that need a more continuous flow of tasks. That is, there are no sprints here. It's a continuous flow that once a work is done, then a next work is then started. And but if we compare it with a sprint, then sprint has a timeline, that is it goes on for a particular amount of time. But here in Kanban, there is no time frame, so it's a continuous flow of tasks. So Jira supports Kanban boards also. So in here, the tasks are represented as cards. They are in Scrum, they are represented as tasks. But in Kanban, the same is represented at cards. That is, the cards are moved from the columns like from to do to in progress to done. So Kanban is ideally for those teams that they need to visualize their work in a steady flow, and they more like the requirements are not much changing time to time. That is, if the requirements are specified beforehand and it's likely that it will not change very soon, then Kanban is the ideal for teams to work on that. And also, Jira is used by a large number of clients and users globally for their projects, for their tasks, to check bugs, to code, to test them, to release, for sprint management, and other things. And other things can cover custom workflows also. And one of the Jira strongest features is the ability to customize workflows. We look what workflows are in the video ahead. And if we move ahead, then we will see then why is Jira being used in companies, or why is Jira preferred. So we've talked about how Jira helps to create backlog. That is, it helps us to specify that what needs to be done, breaking up project into smaller parts and then deciding what needs to be done first. And that's how Jira helps. That it helps to create a backlog, it helps to create a sprint out of the backlog, then update your status, whatever work is being done, update it to the team, update it to whoever is the person you are supposed to update those status to. Managing workflow. And workflow is what is actually workflow. So Jira helps us to customize workflow, and every organization or a team has its own unique process, and Jira allows team to design workflows to fit those needs. So what does a workflow define? A workflow defines the states an issue can be in, the transition between those states, that is the state in which the issue is in, that is if it's in progress of its, or if it's not yet started, the transition between those states, that is moving from a particular state to another state, and any rule that needs to be followed for the issue to move between those states. So let's say, for example, an issue might start as to do, and once that issue is being done, then it moves to in progress, that is okay, now the work is started. Then to code review, that is if it's code, then someone will review that, someone will test that, and then finally to done. So each of these transitions can include steps like who is approving that, whose approval is needed, steps like approvals, checks, or some kind of automated actions, key pull it from a GitHub repository, or you integrate it with some kind of automated testing, etc. So these are the rules that can help the team out, and Jira helps us to manage the workflows accordingly with that. Okay, and it helps to manage release also, right? So every company that supports the agile framework or the practices of agile, then they have a team that work on the agile managed workflow. That is, each of these team have a few members. If you're using Jira and creating a Scrum project into that, then the product owner will be the one who will understand the requirement of the customer, right? So Scrum is the most used and the most commonly applicable agile methodology that is being used in companies, and Jira is the tool that supports Scrum. So if you are using Scrum, then you will come across product owner, and product owner understands requirements of the customer. Then he maintains the product backlog, that what needs to be done, and based on the priority and based on the customer requirements, the backlog is set and is maintained. That is what needs to be done first. Accordingly, then release management, that is release the work when it's done and talk to the client and talk to the customer accordingly. Then we come across Scrum Master. That is, Scrum Master is the one who is after the product owner in the hierarchy, and he is the one who acts as a bridge between the product owner and the development team. That is whatever team is working on, and he is the one who talks to the team as well as to the product owner and maintains a kind of conversation between both, helps in planning and managing work by breaking down into smaller tasks. We can also call the Scrum Master as the team leader. Also, the Scrum Master manages the backlog and ensures its completion. That is, he manages the backlog that is being done, the work that is going on in sprints, and it ensures that the work is done on time. He ensures transparency in the team and conducts regular meetings in the team in the Scrum, using the Scrum call, right? Then we have the team here, which is the primary and the most important part of the Scrum team. That is, it comprises of the software developers and the QA testers. The team divides the work into subtasks, that is, then deal with planning, implementation, testing, and reviewing. Ensure the job is delivered timely with quality assurance, that is, along with testing, and update the above with the Scrum Master through regular meetings. Right? So these are the three people that are associated with a Scrum team. That is the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the team who ensures that the agile practices are thoroughly implemented. Okay. So if we talk about breaking a bigger project into smaller parts, then we can create something called as features, epics, user stories, and tasks to subsequently manage them. So feature is basically groups related items. Then epics can be something which we can create that is a bigger part of the project. So if we talk about the example of epic, then epic can be list an event. If there is an event management company, so the epic for them can be to list the event. That is, if there is event happening, then list the event. So this, for the user story, if we talk about related to the epic, the user story can be such that as a user I want to list the event according to the area. As a user I want to list the event according to the name so that I can find the related event. So these can be user stories, and they start with just as a customer or as a user I want to do this particular thing. So as a customer or as a user I want to list the events based on the area. I want to list the events according to the name or according to the date. So they can be the user stories, and the subsequent tasks that correspond to the user stories can go such as search events based on name or list event based on date, artist, etc. And they can also include some APIs if they need some third party integrations. And tasks generally take around hours to do. User stories can take days to complete because they include subtasks that needs to be done. Epics can take weeks, and so on. So a related activity when work together, then they're called as feature. And when we create a bigger project, then we break the project into smaller parts, and all the related items then go together, and they work on sprints. Okay, so now we will look into the implementations of how these things are done in Jira. Okay, so now to use Jira, we need to first log in into the Jira interface. So to do that, first we'll go to the site atlassian.com and click on the link. Here you have the option to sign in from here, or you can also click here, get started, and enter the email of your choice. We can also include signing up from Google, Microsoft, or any kind of work email. If you already have a Jira account, then we can log in directly. And once we enter our email, we will be logged into the Atlassian account. So we'll click on the Jira icon, and now I am being logged into my Jira workspace. So this is the interface that we see in Jira, where we can see the work that is there, some assigned to me, or the recent work that is going on, and the kind that the boards that are being used. If in an organization too, if you are using Jira, then you'll see a similar kind of interface, that you can see dashboards and the different teams that are there. And now to create we will be let's create a project first to see how we can go ahead. So there are different templates that we can choose from here. Since I'll be using the software development template, and so and other kind of templates are service management, work management, product management. Based on the scenarios and based on the company needs, we different kind of templates can be chosen. I have chosen software development, so I'll go ahead with Scrum, right? So use the template. Option is team manager, company managed. This is a team managed because I'm only the one using it. So the team managed project. Try a team name or any kind of name. So I'll be entering here the name which we talked about earlier, that is the event management. Okay, okay, and create the project here. Once the project is created, since I have chosen Scrum, so I'll be seeing this board. EM is the short name for event management. I can choose any name, but it's okay. So this is the tabs that we have seen to do the section. Then when it's done, it we move to in progress and done. If you want to add a new section, then we'll click this plus button, and I want to include testing too. So now I'll include testing too, and once it's done, the testing is included. You can include more tabs if you need. So this is the summary of the project that is there since it just been created. So the summary is how much it has been completed, updated, and the status of it. So now we'll first create a epic, right? And the epic is to do, because we need to do it. Summary will be list events. Okay, list events. And if you have a description, we can add, but I'll copy this and add the same description here. If you have a detailed description, then you can add the description accordingly. Assignee is automatic because assigned to me because I am doing it. But if it's a team managed or company managed project and someone else needs to be assigned, then you can choose the assignee accordingly. Select label. There are labels are nothing but they are kind of tags that can be added to issues, which can be easily categorized. If we need to filter what are the issue here, so if you want to filter it according to the category or the name, then we can add labels here. But I'll not add anything because there is no such task. There are not a lot of tasks going on, let alone the parent. Choose a team is BRL team. Okay, select the date. The date I'll start is from the 1st of February. I'll not select any end date for now. Issue color is purple. We can also choose accordingly, but I'll go with what it is. If it depends on the team, it depends on the company specifics. That is what is the issue color you wish to give according to your epics, so that it can be easily identified. And reporter is the one you need to report to. So report it to Varun Gupta. Okay. Then if you have any such kind of attachment which where the specifications are clearly defined, or if there is any kind of document that you have, then you can attach it here for detailed description. and other things, etc. Now we will create the epic. Updated. Now again I'll create a story here, a user story, and this is again to do. So as a user or as a customer, I want to list events based on date, right? Now I'll again copy the whole thing and paste it in the description. If you have a detailed description, go ahead with the same. Assignee is automatic, assigned to me. No, I'll not include anything. Team is the same. Select sprint. Okay, there is sprint 1. Now I'll select this EM sprint 1 because this is the default name that has been chosen. EM is the project name and the sprint 1 that is going on. Story point estimate is the estimate that it will take the work to be done. So it goes like, if you are choosing 2 story points, then it will take around 10 to 12 hours for the work to do. 3 is for 15 to 20 hours. So roughly, if I take here 4 story points here, then this will be like 20. No, it will take a day for me to complete this work around. Then reporter is me only, and there's attachment, etc. Now I'll create the story, user story. Okay, so I move to backlog, then this is a sprint 1 that is going on. As a customer, I want to list event based on name. This has not been assigned a sprint because here it's written as start sprint. So I have not yet started. If I want to create one more issue, then I can create. You can also create from here, or I can also create from here. That is what I need to create. I can also create a task. So if I create a task here, because that's a user story, then the task is that list events based on date, right? So leave the rest same. Okay, I'll choose the team here, select sprint, story point is 4, and leave the rest as is it, and create the task. So now there is a user story and there is a list, so we both have to do that. So I'll choose this one, and once I select this and I start the sprint here, this is 8 is the 8 story point, that is, this will take around 48 hours or more to do this and start the sprint. Once I do, then what is it? I can change the sprint name accordingly because this is doesn't make any sense. So we'll include event date list. Now we'll select the duration here. That is, we can also select accordingly. By default is chosen 2 weeks. The start date is on 1st of February. Choose the time. The time can be, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not choosing an end date. The sprint goal is to list events based on date, according to date, not based on date, according to date, according to. And now start the sprint. Once the sprint is started, now we'll have this to do, that is the list events based on date and as a customer. So once this is done, we can move this in progress. See, now this is being done, so we can check the progress here, that if we can add labels if you need to, we can link the issue, we can add parent, we can also delete this once it's done. Then we can move to various phases once it's being done, and the scrum master is responsible to check the progress and to check the condition of the work that is going on. So here you can also see the timing that is going on. 15 days remaining, the start date is it, and the projected end date is 15th of February. So once it's done, then the sprint is completed. The feedback is taken. If the feedback is okay, then a new sprint is started based on a next user story. Okay. So here also you can import work also, that is saved somewhere else, then import. If you want to import it to Jira, then using this import you can import your external project to Jira. Sprint health, you can also check for sprint health. Now once it's done, we can also edit the sprint accordingly. If you wish to add a few more things here, if you can edit, you can change the date, you can change the name and etc. If you need more time, then you can also add or delete a few days. You can include teams, invite people to Jira, create your own team, include external apps. That is, if your company is using some apps, you can also include them using automation, your circle, CI/CD, Slack, Figma, etc. Then create another project if you need to view all projects or create a project. You can also create a project from here also. Filters accordingly, that is, you can filter according to the team member, you can filter accordingly. Check your work here, assigned to me or the recents here, and once you click the home button, then you'll see what tasks are being done. All right. If you have some GitHub account or any Bitbucket or GitLab account, then you can integrate your code repository to Jira through these code section. Connect your GitHub or connect GitLab or connect Bitbucket and other integrations. If you want to see the workflow, then we can manage our workflow from here. That is, we go on board and here we can check for manage workflow. Here we can see the labels that we have created, that is to do, in progress, done, and the testing is the one I created. So if we wish to change or remove anything, then we can add and move accordingly. And then once the workflow is, we can add more tabs, show transition labels, and update the workflow. So we can save the workflow for issue types, for like for all of them or for particular task. So once it's done, check the task that's going on. So this is a gist of what we can do in Jira, how we can create a project, how we can create issues or select or create issues or tasks or bugs, story, epics, assign it to a particular person, select labels, choose a team, select sprint, story points, whom is to report, and other things. So this is how basically we can work with Jira and integrate uh, our repositories to it. Check the board that is going on, check the backlog that is need to be done, who what is in progress, and view the workflow, add other things, check the details of it. And once it's done, then we can complete the sprint here and move ahead with the next sprint. So this was all for this video. If you found this useful, do give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Keep learning, keep growing.